Chris here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the books I read from January 18th through January 24th. First up, I read Death Around the Bend and Christmas at the Grange, both by T.E. Kinsey, and I gave them both 4.5 stars. These are books 3 and 3.5 in the Lady Hardcastle mystery series. In this series, we're following Lady Hardcastle and her lady's maid Flo, who have retired to the country for a quiet life. In Death Around the Bend, Lady Hardcastle and Flo are visiting Lord Riddlethorpe's estate for a holiday full of motor racing and parties, when it is spoiled during the very first race when one of the drivers dies in a crash. Upon taking a closer look at the car, it is obvious the car was sabotaged, so Lady Hardcastle and Flo must determine who sabotaged the car and why. I really enjoyed this addition to the story. I liked getting to see the new setting of Lord Riddlethorpe's estate and the different characters we get to interact with in this novel, some of which knew Lady Hardcastle and Flo prior to them retiring to the countryside, so I think that adds an interesting twist. I was super into the mystery of this motor car crashing and trying to figure out who did it and why and what their motives were and who the target was and like what the motivation was behind this crime. And it was interesting seeing Lady Hardcastle and Flo having to put the pieces together when they didn't know as much as they would like to know about motor cars and the racing world. So they had to rely on essentially their suspects because the people they were staying with knew far more about this topic than they did. But at the same time, that also means they could be the murderer themselves. So it was interesting seeing them try to find that delicate balance of how do we go about gathering information without, one, tipping off our suspect as to the fact that we're investigating and possibly suspecting them, and two, how much can we trust the information that we're getting because this person could be lying to us due to the fact that they committed the crime. So I thought that definitely gave an interesting twist to this novel and definitely made it hard as a reader to also put the pieces together, but not so hard that you couldn't figure out what was going on and who was the guilty party. In Christmas at the Grange, Lady Hardcastle and Flo are going to a Christmas party up at the Grange, and they're just looking forward to spending time with some friends. However, during the festivities, a priceless necklace is stolen, and the lady of the manor asks for their help in figuring out who did it. So this was a really quick, short novella, but I still really enjoyed it. I like how the author managed to condense this mystery into a tiny, short novella, while still making it feel like a mystery that was solvable and was something that Lady Hardcastle and Flo should be looking into. I liked how this one wrapped up a lot, and I definitely think it is a nice little addition to the series, and it was nice to have a little Christmas party with Lady Hardcastle and her friends, and seeing that even then, mystery was afoot. Next up, I read The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, and I gave this book 3 stars. This book fulfilled the prompt companion for TBRPG-a-thon. In this book, we're following Lyra, who lives at Oxford College as her parents are dead and her uncle, Asriel, who's her guardian, is often away on business. Lyra isn't really close to anybody but her best friend, Roger. When he goes missing, Lyra is sure that he's been taken by the Gobblers, who are this mysterious group of individuals who have been kidnapping kids, and sets out to find out what happened to him. So there were things I really enjoyed about this book. One of the things I really liked about this book was that each of the individuals had a companion that was an animal of some sort, and I really liked the idea of having this bond with an animal. And I enjoyed getting to see Lyra's bond play out, and that is where my companion comes in, because she has an animal companion. I really enjoyed some of the people that Lyra met on her journey to try to track down Roger. I mean, the book definitely started off slow for me, but it was once she was on her journey and we met some of these side characters that I really started to get into it. The problem was that I never really cared about Lyra. So up until we got to the side characters I cared about, I didn't really care about the story. And while the side characters were there, I enjoyed the story. But the end of the story, I absolutely disliked. I did not like how this book ended. I didn't like how it wrapped up, and I definitely don't plan to continue on with the series because I did not like the way it wrapped up, and after reading some reviews, I don't think this series is for me. But there were parts of it I did like. Like I said, there were points during the journey where I was really into the story, but I never really connected with our main character. So while this wasn't my favorite book, I didn't absolutely hate it, hence the 3-star rating. And I'm glad to have checked it out because I know it is a really popular book and a lot of people really love this book, but it just wasn't for me. Next up, I read Jadefire Gold by June C.L. Tan, and I gave this book 4.25 stars. This book fulfilled the prompt multiple POVs and left side of the map for TBRPG-a-thon. So this book is a dual perspective, and one of our POVs is An, and she lives in a small village where magic is feared, and An happens to have magic, so she has to hide her magic away. Our other POV is Alton, and he is heir to the throne, but it was stolen out from underneath him, and he is out for revenge. An and Alton end up meeting, and it really throws their life into chaos because it disrupts both of their plans. Shortly after they meet, things get really dangerous for both of them, and soon their lives are in danger. And they both must figure out a way to survive. So I really enjoyed the dual perspective of this book. I liked getting to see things from both characters' points of view, and it definitely added to the story. There was a twist in this book I was not expecting. Actually, 2 of them. I went into this thinking one thing was going to happen, and then that didn't happen, and by the end of the book, they had thrown in another twist. And the reason this didn't get a higher rating, and I know 4.25 is high, is the fact that this is, as far as I know, a standalone, and I don't understand why. The way this book ends sets up a second book, either in a trilogy or longer series, or in a duology, so perfectly. And I'm frustrated that there doesn't seem to be another book because I really enjoyed the characters in the world and getting to see how the magic works here and how the political maneuvering has happened in this book. I want more. I want another book in this series. I want to spend more time with these characters in this world. I really enjoyed getting to see An grow throughout the story, and actually Alton as well. They both grow in very different ways. I enjoyed getting to see their relationship develop and how their meeting kind of threw both of their lives into chaos and turned things on their head for both of them, and how they both had to deal with the consequences of their meeting. This was a really easy book for me to get through. I kind of flew through it once I picked it up, and when I was reading it, I didn't really want to put it down. Like I said, my main gripe is that there is not going to be a sequel as far as I know, but if there is, I would definitely pick it up because, like I said, I enjoyed this book, and it left in such a place that I definitely feel like there's an obvious starting point for a sequel. Despite not knowing whether there will ever be a sequel or not, I still enjoyed this book and enjoyed reading it. Next up, I read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and I gave this book 5 stars. This book fulfilled the prompt reread for Phase 10 Chooses My TBR, and Strong, Control, and Found Family for TBRGP-a-thon. In this book, we follow Spensa, who lives on a planet where her race crash-landed ages ago. All she has ever wanted to do is become a pilot and help free her people from the planet that aliens have trapped them on. Unfortunately, her father is one of the biggest traitors to her race that her planet has ever known, and she has been painted with that same brush and looked down upon. Spensa then sets out to prove that not only can she be a great pilot, but she's not a traitor, and neither was her father. Though it is easier said than done. So this was, like I said, a reread for me, hence why I read it for the reread prompt, and I enjoyed it just as much the second time as I did the first. I love getting to see Spensa struggle with the weight of her father's legacy and trying to prove that he couldn't have done what they said that he did because she just doesn't believe her father is capable of something like that. I enjoyed getting to see her fight back against all of the adversity that was heaped onto her due to that legacy and really striving to prove that she was going to be a good pilot. She could be trusted regardless of what they thought about her father, and that she deserved to be able to forge her own path and create her own legacy without being tainted by her father's. I enjoyed getting to see her learn how to be a pilot and realizing that it was going to be a lot harder than she thought it was, and that she had a lot more to learn than she thought it was. I enjoyed getting to see her bond with her flight team as they too knew some of Spensa's past and kind of had to overcome that prejudice of her father's legacy. I really enjoy this book because I think it does a great job at setting up the characters in the world and making you become really attached to Spensa and her journey. And like I said, I love this book as much the second time as I did the first, and it was just an easy 5-star read. And lastly, I read Ruby in the Sky by Jean Zulik Ferrulo, and I gave this book 5 stars. This book fulfilled the prompt pretty cover for Phase 10 chooses my TBR, and under 300 pages for TBRPG-a-thon. So this is one of my winter covers, so I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You'll have to wait for my winter covers vlog for that. If you don't know about my winter covers, I will link the video below where I do my 5 on Friday where I explain to you more about it. But basically, I picked 5 books on my TBR whose cover reminded me of the season of winter and went into them blind to see if they were actually about the season. So I won't be saying anything more about this here, but keep your eyes peeled because my winter cover vlog wrap up, I'm not sure what I'm calling it yet, that will be up on my channel hopefully this month sometime. So these are some of the books I read between January 18th and January 24th. All of my social media, including my Discord, is linked in the description below if you'd like to come chat with me. If you've made it this far in the video, leave me sky-related emojis, like this video, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!